Hey guys, it's Marty Boardman here with Fix and Flip Hub. And for those of you who don't know me, my business partner Manny Romero and I, we fix and flip houses in Phoenix, Arizona and Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And in this video today, I want to explain to you why wholesaling and wholesalers and traditional fix and flip investors and traditional fix and flip deals are basically becoming extinct. They're dying out like the dinosaurs did way back when. And the reasons for that and how you as a real estate investor can avoid extinction and take advantage of some exciting opportunities that we've been and some strategies that we've been implementing in our fix and flip business in Arizona and Wisconsin. So I thought of this little training video here because of a trip I just came back from with my wife and my daughters. We were in California last month. Of course, we live in Phoenix, Arizona. California is about 6 hours away. So we took a trip to California, 4 days. And, most tourists, when they go to California, they like to visit Disneyland and Universal Studios. And we've done all that stuff. So on this trip, I wanted it to be a little bit more educational. So I brought my wife and my daughters to the La Brea Tar Pits. And if you are unfamiliar with the La Brea Tar Pits, basically it's kind of an indoor-outdoor museum. And there's about 7 pits located around the museum itself, large and small, like this one here you see on the screen. And it's actually not tar, it's actually asphalt that oozes up from the ground. And these tar pits still exist, but they basically, during the Ice Age, which ranges from about 10 to 50,000 years ago, these things swallowed up large and small animals alike, like these mammoth elephants here and mastodons and saber-toothed cats. And it was a really fascinating trip. As a matter of fact, let me show you. On the right there's my wife and my daughters in front of a large mastodon, and my girls at a smaller pit that was kind of off to the side. And as you can see, tar still kind of oozes up from the ground. But as we were walking around touring the museum, I couldn't help but think, wow, all these amazing giant creatures going extinct following the Ice Age. Now, the La Brea Tar Pits weren't the cause of their extinction. It was, the Ice Age coming to an end, and they all kind of died out. But anyway, these pits would trap these animals and keep them, and they would essentially just kind of die, and then they'd find their fossils. They're still finding fossils in these pits. They found millions of these fossils. So anyway, it's a really cool exhibit. You get a chance to see it. But anyway, I started thinking about the fact that wholesalers and wholesale deals and fix and flip investors and fix and flip deals are becoming extinct. They're dying out because of what's going on right now in our economy and the current housing market cycle that we're in, and all of the disruptors and the disruption that we're seeing in the housing market. It's unlike anything that's ever happened in our housing market. And there's really 3 factors, or 3 disruptors, if you will, in our housing market. The first would be what I call these mega wholesalers, right? These are really large players, house buyers, in most of your larger housing markets. And they're using things like billboards and signs on buses. They're doing direct mail to the extreme I've never heard of before. I mean, they're spending between $10,000 and $50,000 or more per month. And they're not just sending direct mail to homeowners in foreclosure and absentee owners and landlords. They're sending it to just regular folks. As a matter of fact, I live in Phoenix, and hardly a week goes by that I don't just get a random text message from somebody offering to buy my house. That's how hyper competitive this space is with these mega wholesalers. So it's really difficult for you or me to compete against these people because they have such a huge bandwidth and they have such large budgets that it's hard for us as just kind of one-off, or even if we're trying to do 10, 15, 20 deals a year, whether they're wholesale or fix and flip deals, to compete against these guys because they have such a large bandwidth, they have such huge budgets. It's hard for us to get found or to get noticed. So you also have in our larger housing markets like Phoenix, where I operate, you've got iBuyers like Open Door and OfferPad and Zillow that will pay a homeowner, a regular homeowner, up to 90%, sometimes even 95% of the after repair value of the property, regardless of what kind of repairs are required. So how does a wholesaler or a fix and flip investor like you or me, how are we able to buy a deal with enough margin to make any money? If we're competing against these mega wholesalers and these large iBuyers like Open Door, Zillow, and OfferPad, how do we compete? Well, I can tell you it's really, really difficult. There's one other factor in our economy that's going on right now that's making it difficult, and it's baby boomers. Baby boomers are, as you can see here from this article from Housing Wire, this was just from June of this year, or June of last year, 2019, they are aging in place. In other words, they're staying in their houses versus moving to assisted living homes and nursing homes because we have home health care and home nursing care. People don't need to go somewhere else and sell their homes. They can stay in place. And you see the circle there. It says, instead of moving to retirement communities like their parents, baby boomers are aging in place near gridlock. It's keeping 1.6 million homes off the national market. So you have these three factors in our economy right now, and these disruptors, if you will, that are making it really, really difficult for wholesalers and fix and flip investors like us to find deals to make money that are going to make us any money. So what we have to do is adopt some alternative strategies for acquiring houses and creating deals, creating margin, creating profit for ourselves if we're going to survive and thrive, right, and not go extinct. Now, one of the strategies that we use is a turnkey rental fix and flip model where we buy homes, we remodel them, we lease them out, and then we sell them to investor buyers. And our investor buyers are usually willing to pay a little bit more for a house than after repair value if it's professionally managed rehab, and it gets them a nice rate of return. So that's one way we do it. So we can afford to spend a little bit more money on a house. We can afford to pay a higher price for the home. We don't have to get a smoking deal on it to make money. A second strategy that we use here in Phoenix is what we call a value add fix and flip, where we buy a house, a small house on a big lot, and we do some kind of an addition, 500 to 800 square feet or more. Maybe it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. We turn it into a 4-2. We add value to the house through additions, reconfigurations, adding bedrooms and bathrooms, and we create value that way. And that's a very effective strategy in a market like Phoenix. It also works really well in more competitive markets in California, Nevada, Washington, and Florida. The turnkey rental fix and flip strategy works really well in Midwestern markets and Northeastern markets. So you're saying, great, Marty, these are strategies that work in those markets, but what about other places? Well, we also use what's called a no equity house flipping strategy that'll work anywhere. Phoenix, Milwaukee, it'll work anywhere in between, no matter what kind of housing market you're in. So what is a no equity house flipping strategy and how does that work? Well, the reason a no equity house flipping strategy works so well is because you don't need to get a smoking deal on the property. The seller can even be underwater. It also works well because you don't need a lot of cash or good credit to put no equity deals together and flip them, and you don't need an all-star rehab team. This is a complex, a fairly more complex approach than I made it seem here in this video. So that's why I'm doing a training, a free training on this. And you can click on the link in the description to watch that training. I'm going to be doing it next week. If you're watching this video and it's been more than a week since I did the training, click on the link in the description for a replay of that training. But essentially the way a no equity house flipping deal works is you're buying a home from a homeowner who has no equity or is underwater, okay, for very little cash out of your own pocket. And you're flipping it to someone else, either with a lease option or a wraparound mortgage, who has a down payment and can make the down payment essentially to you, and you're acting kind of as the middle person in the transaction. I'm oversimplifying it. Again, I'm going to get into all the mechanics of it in my training, but you've got to, I think, again, if you're going to survive and thrive in the housing market cycle that we're in right now, using one of these three alternative strategies, and I'm going to go into detail on how you can make money flipping houses that don't have any equity in them in this training by clicking on the link in the description. You can either, again, watch it live if it's now between now and the next week, and or you can click on the link to watch the replay. But again, you're going to have to adopt, I believe, one of these three alternative strategies if you're going to make money as a real estate investor in this housing market cycle that we're in. So I'd encourage you to attend that training and check out the other videos that we have available on our YouTube channel or on our Facebook page. So that's all I got for you today. I appreciate watching. I'm Marty Boardman with Fix and Flip Hub.